Reddit. What is your most disturbing, scary, or creepy real story? When I was little, my parents had a weekend tradition that felt like the greatest privilege in the world. My older sister was a light sleeper, so every Friday or Saturday night they let me camp out in the living room. I'd stay awake watching old sitcoms on Nick at night, determined to make it until sunrise. I never did. One night, sometime after midnight, I woke up without knowing why. It wasn't a sound. It wasn't a dream. It was a feeling, like every instinct in my body was screaming that something was wrong. I shot upright on the couch and stared at the large front window. Outside, the moon bathed our yard in a pale silver glow. We lived deep in rural Georgia, surrounded by towering trees. That's when I saw it. A dark silhouette. Someone was sitting perfectly still in one of the trees watching the house. Before I could even breathe, our family dog exploded toward the window, barking and snarling so violently that the glass rattled. I ran to my parents' room, barely able to speak through my tears. My dad grabbed a flashlight and something to defend himself with before charging outside with the dogs. My mom held me close as we waited in silence. Minutes later, Dad returned. There was nobody out there, he said. Trying to convince myself it had just been my imagination, I went back to my bedroom. My sister was already awake, listening as I whispered everything that had happened. The house slowly became quiet again. Dad continued making his usual rounds with a cup of coffee. Eventually, I closed my eyes. Then, I felt it again. I looked toward my bedroom window. A man was standing just outside. The moonlight revealed only his outline, but I could clearly see him raise one finger to his lips. Sure. Without another movement, he turned and disappeared into the darkness. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. When I finally found my voice, I cried harder than I ever had in my life. And to this day I still wonder if my dad never found anyone outside who was standing beneath my window.